Crazy Days and Nights, also known as CDAN, which is a celebrity gossip blog, was launched in July 2006 by an anonymous individual that went by the name of Lawyer. He's really not that anonymous. See right here. Hi, John Nelson. Since its inception, the blog has gained popularity for its intriguing blind items and insider information about the entertainment industry. Over the years, Crazy Days and Nights has become a go-to source for celebrity gossip enthusiasts like myself who are seeking the latest rumors and scandals from Hollywood. Like many gossip bloggers, whether or not it is Lawyer, Perez Hilton, that of Ted Casablanca from back in the day, Lawyer spoke about that of Amanda Bynes very early on. It started off as light and cotton candy type of gossip. For example, this one that is from September 16, 2009, just a couple years into its site creation, this fairly young C-list television actress who used to be B and also had her shot at movies as a lead walked into a show this week. She had arranged for a front row seat, but when she walked in and saw all kinds of Real Housewives mess, she decided that was way too good for them. She decided to share this information with the rest of the tent and said it very loudly and very clearly so that the whole place could hear. She then turned around and walked out. Of course, at a rate of one project a year for our actress, she probably should have stayed and asked if she could get a guest on their show. So that was light, on the lighter side. And then as years went on, he started covering more and more of her troubles. For example, this one from April 7, 2010, which talks about her DUI arrest. And Crazy Days and Nights, Lawyer continues to cover her struggles over the years. In 2012, concerns about what's going on with her parents, especially that of her father. October 2012, pleading not guilty. Then more in 2013, for example, this one that is from actually September 29th, 2012, but revealed in 2013 as Amanda Bynes, and it says, what former B-list television and movie actress who is now retired took a cab to a club, walked into the club, walked up to the largest guy she saw who happened to be with a woman. Our actress walked up to him and said he should come back to her hotel with her. It took him 2 seconds to walk away from the woman he was with and leave the club with the actress. Then 2013, talking about her and Kid Cudi and how things have been escalating. And as 2013 goes on, he is highlighting the fact that he does think that she is under substances, which is escalating. A couple of years go by, and then all of a sudden, Auntie of Crazy Days and Nights allegedly has Amanda Bynes reaching out to him herself. With this first one from March 27, 2018, blind item number 13, her words. Last night after the news broke about a certain producer and actress all of you know who knows the producer as well as anyone sent me this. Thank you for all of your support. I don't know how any of these men sleep at night, but if there is one thing that I do know, it is what is done in the dark always comes to light. XO, XO. Sorry, I thought I was clever. Unfortunately, I will obviously not be making any comment whatsoever for obvious reasons. And unfortunately, I feel as though the only way that legitimate stories can make the headlining reading blank is if others publicly speak on his behavior. Blank was truly like a second father to me, but things change. After the second incident, I don't know if I'll ever be able to have children or have the family of my dreams. People have picking this scab apart for years. I just won't be the one that finally rips it off. And that's alleged per Auntie to be about Dan Schneider. And if you look at all of the capitalized letters, it spells, it allege to Dan Schneider as well. There is also another blind from early 2018 from one of the submitters to the Crazy Days and Nights website, him, which will be a whole separate story to get into. It is very dark. Allegedly, Amanda has to do with it, but who really knows? If you were a celebrity or that of a struggling celebrity, would you be reaching out to a celebrity blogger who has talked about you and give all of these details? A little suspect? No? There's this one from 2019, March, allegedly from Amanda to Auntie John Nelson of Crazy Days and Nights. FYI, I'm not in a lockdown rehab facility. I repeat, I'm not in a lockdown rehab facility. This is all a part of my mother's elaborate plan to have me committed against my will again, and to strategically railroad my amazing progress and have my conservatorship extended another 3 years. My mother is spending large amounts of my money, and I was officially financially cut off at the beginning of this year. My mother forced my previous sobriety coach to quit, and that's when all of this started. My mother stopped paying my sobriety coach. My mother stopped providing me with my biweekly payments to survive. My mother stopped paying my rent, and my mother also stopped paying for my medications. And at the end of January, my mother lied to my doctors, and they forced me into multiple facilities. But one thing is for certain, I did not relapse on drugs, because I do not use drugs, and I'm definitely not crazy. My mother is crazy one, and I have the proof that also shows her plans to purchase another house in Leelander, Texas with my money. And the alleged blinds about Amanda go on and on from Crazy Days and Nights, with a lot of speculation and claims that she is the one submitting them herself. So again, ask yourself, if you were her, would you be submitting your own details into them? Make sure to check out my other stories, which will go into further blinds on Amanda from the Crazy Days and Nights website. So you can really ask yourself, is it real? Is it not? January 19th, 2018, 4 for Friday. It's about time, a blind item. Tick tock, tick tock. That clock is ticking loudly as a chain of events and a metaphorical deal with the devil can bring down this entire media corporation and their now struggling studio within the coming year. This one has been a long time coming and is thankfully about to come to an end for the perpetrators of some of the modern entertainment industry's worst longtime institutional abuses of underage actresses. For many of the longtime CDAN regulars, this one won't be a shock, although the details might. Many people in Hollywood and out have been waiting to see when this producer at this cable network is going to be called out, publicly accused, or charged for his many years of abuse behind the scenes. Many have wondered why, with so many others being brought down, he's managed to escape almost unscathed. It's because of this protector of his. His protector is the mega wealthy big boss of the studio and corporate parent, and he wields a lot of power over many types of media in both Hollywood and New York. Many years ago, the producer got himself in serious trouble over his perverted abuses of several of his actresses. Not just those he abused himself, but those he encouraged his writers, directors, and co-producers to sexually abuse as well. This was not a one-time thing, but an ongoing, constant pattern which led to those actresses to do schmug, self-destruction, self-abuse, destroy dreams, wasted careers, damaged families, and even insanity, made more disgusting by the complicity and apathy of the parents, momagers, and guardians who wanted fame and money. All so that some jolly perverts could get their rocks off, living out their sick, unfulfilled teenage dreams. At the time, the protector still had most of his marbles and was going to live forever. Many believe he's still, although he now alive in name only, and the flare-ups of his lapping at his legs daily. Back then, he still had his iron grip on his business, and he's never been afraid to sue, threaten, harass, or destroy others as his favorite sport. Side note, kind of sounds like NC lawyer from Crazy Days and Nights, John Nelson. But I digress. Back to the blind. Back when the abuses emerged as whispers at the corporation, the executives and the protector sat down with his corporate dean counters and realized the massive cash cow this producer was for them. Huge, very huge, and in a big in every way. In fact, probably one of the three biggest revenue generators in the corporate parent's entire history, especially in the coveted target demographic for ads, merch, and licensing. When that much is at stake, they don't want to rock the boat or kill the golden goose or cow or even a giant pig. Anyway, on the other hand, it is a public corporation, and that means things can get leaked and revealed just through statements and financial reports. What then evolved was a corporate game of chess that nobody could imagine. The producer was no dummy, so he personally hired investigators to provide ammo for his case. And then he hired top financial experts to lay out the revenue he and his cronies represented to the corporation, both in past and future revenues. So when the protector summoned him, the producer showed the protector a huge financial report to validate his power and worth to the bottom line. Then he showed a massive dossier of files going back to 50 years of the powerful protector's own misdeeds. From New York to Hollywood to Boston to London, a trail of abuses, perversions, thefts from his company, abuse, stealing from his own family, and even outright felonies. By the time he got down the list to mention offshore banking, the protector knew he had met someone on his level. Thus, the two twisted men forged a strategy, an agreement to protect each other and the corporation. The producer surrendered his expensive background report, and the protector agreed to make all of these pesky abuse whispers go away. They also agreed to blame another big corporate executive within the corporation if anything ever did leak and set him up as a fall guy. The protector even targeted one of his corporate underlings to shoulder his blame so he could claim ignorance. None of this was simple, instant, and not was cheap or easy. But the perverted producer was smart enough to have limited potential witnesses by keeping his schmapes and abuses down to he said, she said. And for more than a decade in the pre Cosby, pre Harvey days, a reporter, lawyer, or cop wouldn't accuse in such instances without hard proof. Parents were paid off in huge amounts, as in never have to work again, ever. Amounts that cover cars, college tuition, homes, and they all want for now. The parents and the managers who played ball and went along with it, they were all awarded. Not just with big payoffs, but production deals, television shows, feature films, even music careers. Many of the adults were even bribed with corporate stock. The victims were told they had no choice and they had to accept the deals or they themselves could get in trouble. So all those actresses and the people had to do keep quiet, keep smiling, doing photo ops, and support their brand, shows, projects with positive PR. The best part for the producer and protector, they managed to make even more money off of even those cover up deals by making new shows starring once unknown backing players who had been abused. Like two shows that star the same actress, and on it went, leaving a trail of money and destroyed lives in their wake. Some of the young girls were just in their tweens when sexually abused and by the producer or his team members. One very damaged victim says he was even a when the producer went from hugging her in her trailer to physically laying on her and forcing himself in her. She turned to alcohol, schmugs, running away, and anything that would allow her to numb the pain, as her parents refused to give her money to live and refused to let her quit the business. Eventually, it became too much for her, and she had an epic meltdown. Some of the victims were so exasperated by parents, managers, and even tutors refusing to believe them or help them that they did quit the business altogether. Still others tipped off gossip bloggers, industry insiders, online Reddit threads, anonymous MySpace chats, and anyone they could find just to try and warn others and get the story out any way that they could. It worked to a small degree, at least as many people began to whisper. Meanwhile, the protector still enjoyed his own perversions of barely legal escorts and their escorts' mothers. Escorts who were paid by trading schmacks for production deals at the studios. Actresses who skipped over casting couches and went straight to his house to trade schmacks for jobs on his TV shows. And yacht girls whom he moved into his houses and girlfriends, sugar babies. All the while, the producer continued his abuses, crimes, and even got bold enough to allude to them in his own shows. As the years passed by, however, times changed. Victim became emboldened and struggled to find a voice. And old people get older, sicker, and lose their last few marbles. Some even die and pass on. Those girlfriends of the protector get greedy and sue for inclusion in the will. Family members get scorned, disheartened, and others fight and claw to be named as the new boss, as this one has. Which brings us to the present day and the earth now, quaking beneath the feet of this corporation studio network, the protector, and definitely the producer. Several of the victims have began to talk to the lawyers who spent blood in the water. The big executive fall guy, he passed away. They wanted to blame it all on him since he's out and can't defend himself. Only two big problems. Number one, in a major corporate shuffle in the past year or two, several executive board members got pushed out and they want revenge badly against the corporation and against the protector. Number two, one of the biggest victims of the producer has a lot of proof against him, irrefutable proof, that can bring the whole business down on them. The movie studio owned the corporation is not doing well, and many in the industry have been reluctant to set up projects there because they're not sure if they'll even get made. Meanwhile, the corporations and networks are also falling into trouble. So even if everything behind the scenes were fine, it would still be a tough time there. So if a major scandal were to hit the offices, studio labs, and networks, it would trigger a domino effect that will send stakeholders running and talent fleeing. Because, you see, time's up. It's not just a movement, meme, or hashtag. It's literally a thing. Because time is up for intimidation and silence of those victims. Side note, Auntie, note that yourself. Back to the wine. One is no longer a girl and is now a woman. She explored criminal charges, jurisdictions, statutes of limitations, and exceptions to those. She's livid at her parents for their complicity and wants revenge and a bigger payday, though a lawsuit for the career and life that was stolen from her, but only after she makes it all public. So the time is up on the agreement her parents made, which doesn't apply to her now as an adult. She lawyered up and then hired investigators, forensic accountants, analysis, and a security outfit of global repute who has even worked for government intelligence operations. She's very serious about this, as are the other victims who endured similar abuse and complicity from parents, guardians, and managers. Several have engaged in the services of the same law firm who employ experts in the field crimes against children with the feds. Also involved are the disgruntled former executives, so much so that they have turned to the protector's all-time arch nemesis, who is known by all and is the owner of the massive conglomerate stretching throughout the world to guarantee that they will get the coverage they need to air their accusations. They are also getting friendly lawyers to protect them when they back the claims of the abuse victims, which otherwise would incriminate them for prior knowledge, but now identifies them since they are cooperating with the victims. Everyone is pursuing this with all before the protector finally dies. Then the studio and their assets, including a valuable back catalog library of titles, can get gobbed up by another competitor. In fact, as I write about this, I know several news outlets that work on stories about abuses in other branches of the corporation and executives there. So don't put too much faith in strange movements and shuffling going on at the corporation studio networks, because it's just them setting up for future damage control and the scapegoating that is sure to come. Don't think for a second that every day the new boss of the corporation wakes up, the boss is not wondering if this is the day that their time runs out. The new boss is no dummy either and knocks and knows time's up for the metaphorical deals that the corporation made with the devil all those years ago. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. There is the protector, the corporation, the producer, the network, the other network in trouble, the deceased ex-executive, nemesis, victim 1, victim 2, victim 3, victim 4, escort, new boss, and the payoff shows. It's important to note the man that wrote this line was a fraud himself. And Diesel, wife called him a fraud, and check out Drenched in Drama for